Alright, why don't you tell them that this episode is sponsored by?
Oh, this episode is sponsored by Mr. Dak Faden. He is the only planeswalker from Conspiracy, as you see. He is a 3-drop, 1 generic and 1 blue and 1 red. His will start off as a loyalty 3. His +1 is target player draws 2 cards, then discards 2 cards. His -2, or his middle one, is gain control of target artifact. And his -6 is you get an emblem with whenever you cast the spell that targets 1 or more permanents, you gain control of those permanents. Alright.
That's an interesting card there, and what a wonderful way to start us off. Hi guys, we've got BobbKat here.
And
I'm here
MoIcuI3.
Yes, MoIcuI3, my friend online, as he goes by, or what do you go by in the real world?
Real world is Kyle.
And I'd be going by Bobby.
I don't know.
So we're back here, we've got some booster packs to open. We've got, we each have 5 booster packs, and what we're going to do is we're going to take turns opening up one of our booster packs at a time. And we're going to talk about each of the booster packs as we go on, what each of them does, what kind of decks that they'd be good in, and hopefully we'll get some interesting mythic rares, foils, and hopefully you'll see some interesting reactions.
All the shenanigans.
Yeah, so Kyle, you're our guest, so I guess it's only right that you start off.
Okay, I'll start off. I'm looking through the packs. I bought these at a local store. This deck is being thrown away there. Hopefully he doesn't get lost because I need him for another deck. I asked the retailer if I can get 5 random packs, and what he gave me was 1 card from the Ravnica block, which is Gatecrash. He gave me 1 Gatecrash pack. He gave me an M14 or Core Set 2014 pack, and then he gave me 1 of each from Theros. So he gave me, of course, the Theros, Born of the Gods, and the newest set of the Conspiracy, Journey into Nyx. I participated in a couple of the pre-release events, especially for Theros and Born of the Gods. However, I missed Journey into Nyx, so kind of didn't get anything special from that series.
And yes, and for me, when we get to me, I will be opening up, we'll be going back and forth between booster packs, so he'll open up one, I'll open up one, and for me, I've got Return to Ravnica, Gatecrash, Dragon Maze, Born of Gods, and Journey Next. Decided to skip out on Theros because I got too many of those already. So, which one did you want to start off with?
I'll start off with the, for me personally, I'll start off with the older one. I'll do the Gatecrash first. There's a card I kind of do want. It's a Domri Ray, which is the Planeswalker. He is, I believe, a 3-drop, and his ultimate emblem is really scary. And I actually already have one in my Commander, what is it? Ruakthar Commander deck, I guess you could say, or Gruul Commander deck. And he's quite fun. So I'll just open this up right now. Suck it open.
Anything good?
So first thing I see is a normal standard 2/2 Gutter Skull, which is a 2/2 zombie rat for a 2-drop. Nothing really special about him. If you're making a zombie deck, I would prefer putting him in there just as an easy blocker, and yeah. Another Gruul card I did have in my Commander deck, but I took out because I didn't really need it, is Disciple of the Old Ways. It's a 2-drop, 1 green, 1 generic, a 2/2. You would pay a red, and Disciple of the Old Ways gains first strike until end of turn. So if you want to, you could sneak a little Death Touch in there, and without them knowing, like a Necrobite, that's another fun card, is Dark Creature gains Death Touch and you regenerate it. But with the first strike, so basically you hit them first, if you don't know what first strike, and then with Death Touch, if you don't know Death Touch, is if any damage dealt by that creature with Death Touch, destroy it, even if the creature toughness is like 100. Next card is Scatter Arc, which is a bit of an expensive card. Basically, it's like Bone to Ash, but the other way around. This is counter target non-creature spell for 4. It is 1 blue and 3 generic, and as well, just a little side thing, it's a draw card. So it gives you the ability of countering a spell that, like I say someone throws another instant down, you're like, oh, I don't want that, I'll put down a Scatter Arc. And also gives you the small side of drawing a card.
Yeah, I prefer, in that case of that card, like it's a 4-drop, and cancels non-creature spell, and in addition draws a card, and then you've got Negate, which is 2-drop.
So this can negate a negate, basically.
Yeah, but it's just a little bit higher mana drop. And then there's Psychic Strike, which is blue-black, and that mills you 2. So
just throw those over there.
Just some land and tokens.
Okay, this next card I won't prefer to use. It's just way too much mana, but in a pre-release it would work. It's called Structural Collapse. It is a 6-drop, includes 1 red and 5 generic. Target player sacrifices an artifact and a land, and then it does 2 damage. Yeah, it has quite a punch to it, but preferably I wouldn't use that because it'd be costing way too much for a certain spell. Like you could be mana swamped, or not mana swamped, but mana screwed, as they say. So you can have like only 2 mana down, and you have these heavy cards in your hand. And you're like, well, what am I going to do with this big card? So personally, I wouldn't use it, but if you have a deck that wants to focus on destroying land and artifacts, this could be a good card for that.
I could see mana ramp a little bit in there too, but I'm pretty sure by the time you get that idea of wanting to do mana ramp, there's probably better cards that you can get other than this one.
Next card is another Gruul, so I may go for a Gruul deck with this pack. Primal Visitation. It's a 5-drop, including a blue and not a blue, a red in a forest or a green. Enchanted creature gets 3/3 in haste. So this would actually really work if you have a lot of mana and either you put down a creature that last turn or put a small creature like a 1/1 and then just bump it up with this thing, because then that 1/1 could then turn into a 4/4 with haste, so you can attack right away. So the creature may not look small. Another good way would be like a flash creature for combat. I had this actually also in my commander deck, but again I took it out because my deck is based around monsters and not haste and 3/3s. But that's what I would use for it. Any questions are you?
Oh, Gruul isn't really one of my strong points, but looking at it, it's okay, but in my opinion, there's probably better cards that you can use, and that's something that I would always say when it comes to commons. There's always better cards that you can use, but it's not that bad. That's all I can say. I really don't know too much about Gruul.
Next card is from Boros. It is the Wobjek Halberdiers. It's a 2-drop, 3/2. Battalion, so whenever a creature says battalion, it means basically when this creature and 2 others attack with it, this ability pops off. So for this one, it's battalion. Whenever Wobjek Halberdiers and at least 2 other creatures attack, Wobjek Halberdiers get first strike at down a turn. So that comes really good if you have like another card in your hand that can boost it up, or if you have a player who can't really defend but has like a 2/2 as a defender, this one will strike hit first if you have, of course, battalion out. So again, that means for battalion, this creature and 2 other creatures will have to attack for the battalion to actually go off. And then actually, I do have a Boros Rakian commander deck, and I, however, do not have this guy, but I do have a lot of other battalion cards that are inside the game, like Tajik.
Yes, and the main thing about this one is the battalion, so getting a lot of creatures out onto the field at the same time as it would be good. First strike can be scary. What else can I say about this one? I do have a few of these. I think I considered them, but then I took them out because I just didn't feel like they were strong enough, so I just disregarded them.
But the thing that people may like about it is a 2-drop 3/2, so instead of like a 2-drop 2/2, this is actually 1 extra power, so it does actually help a lot if someone has like a 0/3 defender or a 0/3 creature or something like that, or a 1/3, I don't know.
Yeah, it could be good early game. I can see that.
Next card is Ivy Lane Denizen. So this is a more complex card. It is a 4-drop 2/3, so it's got a bit of defense. Whenever a green creature enters the battlefield under your control, you may put a 1/1 counter on it. So this card I would recommend for a Simic deck or a deck that may have Proliferate, which aka means add another counter, but doubling season for this card would be scary, because doubling season, of course, doubles counters. Or another card would work would be Corpse Jack Menace from Return to Ravnica, because he doubles 1/1 counters. So let's say you put down a 1/1 Experiment 1, which comes as a 1/1. When this card's already down, it would then get another counter, but then let's say you have the Corpse Jack, it would then come in another counter. So for a 1-drop, you have a 3/3 on the field.
Yes, and I could definitely see how this one would be useful in one of my other decks, because I've got a blue-green deck, and most of them are... I don't think I have any mono-blue creatures, and if any, very little, but they do have some green in them. So if I get that guy out on the field, get a 1/1 counter perhaps. So that could be useful.
Next card is Death's Approach. Personally, a card I don't preferably run. Like, yeah, it could be good, but again, you have to have a lot of cards in your graveyard. It is a 1 black drop enchanted creature. Enchanted creature gets negative XX, where X is the number of creature cards in its controller's library. So yeah, if you killed a lot of creatures on their field, it could be really strong, but again, that's going to be more late game. Basically, this is just like a little time bomb, so every creature you kill in their graveyard, this creature then gets smaller and smaller and smaller until death. So the only thing I can think this would really work is on an indestructible creature, because technically for indestructible, it prevents damage like the destroy word. However, it does not destroy, or it doesn't affect to negative on it.
Yeah, that's something that not a lot of people may know about, is if you can debuff something to death even if it has indestructible, including a god that is a creature. So that could be scary for that. And if you've got a mill deck with, let's say, Consuming Aberration, yeah, it can be scary to work with.
Yes.
I personally wouldn't use this card in my mill deck. I've already got it planned out, but that's an interesting card to consider anyway if you want to destroy something that's indestructible.
A mill deck, or like by mill he means like a target player puts the top X cards of their library into their graveyard. That's
right.
what it means by mill. So let's say I play a card that says target player puts the top two cards from their library into their graveyard. I call that mill, so mill for 2. There's a lot of cards that do that. Next card is another denizen, is a Sage Rose denizen, or Sage Rose. Basically almost like this other denizen we saw, but a bit different. Again, this one actually does mill. Whenever blue creature enters the battlefield under your control, that target puts the top 2 cards of his or her library into his graveyard. So again, whenever a blue creature enters the battlefield, that player mills 2. It is a 3-drop 2/3, so again, a little cheaper than the green one, but if played properly, it could be quite scary.
Yeah, another card useful for milling again, and I think Gatecrash has quite a few of these cards in it because I believe Gatecrash was focused on some of the guilds of Ravnica, including Dimir, which has a lot of mill-based cards in it. And I believe the intro pack for Dimir had Consuming Aberration. So
it was the Consuming Aberration was the promo card, or the foil in the front. A lot of intro packs has that. Like the as I was talking about, the Corpse Jack Menace was for Golgore during the Return to Ravnica. During Gatecrash, it was Consuming Aberration, as well as Ruach Thar was... No, that was Dragon Mace.
That was Dragon Mace.
Dragon Mace, yeah. Our next card, Skyblinder Staff.
I used to have that one. I think I still do,
It's a 1-drop, really good artifact, equipment. Basically, equipped creature gets 1/0 and cannot be blocked by creatures with flying. So if you put this on a flying creature... it's equipped 3. So if you put this on a flying creature, it's basically unblockable. The only thing that can really block would be a creature with reach, basically... can grab, but if you have a big flying deck, this card would work really well for you. If you ever find a creature with flying has this on them, you really want to get rid of it quickly as possible because this can do a lot of damage.
Yeah, I have. I think I put those in my my blue-green deck at one point too, and I think I took it out just because it just seemed a little too situational for me. Usually I come up with creatures that I just don't want to block anyway. But interesting card to consider anyway, so I would recommend it if you were starting out a deck that you don't want to be blocked by creatures with flying, and if you have flyers yourself.
Our next card is again another Gruul, so we may want to make a Gruul deck out of this.
Are we getting into the uncommons now?
Now we're into the uncommons. This is a Gruul Key Rune, which is a 3-drop. Basically, you tap it for either green or it's another just called a mana boost artifact, as I call them. So that you tap it for mana. It's either in the red or the green. It also has the ability if you pay 2, this turns into a Gruul Key Rune, becomes a 3/2 red-green beast artifact token with trample until end of turn. So it has a trample, which could be really scary if you buff that out with like giant growth and stuff.
The only problem with that is it's only until end of turn, so you would have to instance some counters.
Blood Rush, because Gruul's all about Blood Rush.
Yeah.
So you attack with it like, oh, it's only a 3/2, nothing really. So the guy doesn't block with anything. He's just I'm going to take 3 damage. Well, not seeing how your 8/8 is being blocked. So while this one does that, you just Blood Rush the crap out of it, as they would say, and then it can become really scary.
Yeah.
Our next uncommon is the Dimir Key Rune.
Yes, we were talking about both those guilds now, so...
Again, basically just like the Gruul Key Rune, it's 3-drop. It comes for any mana, so it's now blue-black. And its ability is you pay blue-black. Dimir Key Rune becomes a 2/2 blue-black horror artifact until end of turn, and it has unblockable. So that's an easy little poke in the face. Oh, before I end my... as I declare my combat phase, I then pay 2 and then make this guy a creature. And I attack him for 2 unblockable. Can't really do anything about that. You can't block it. Then you can't really cipher because Dimir does a lot of cipher. Basically, you cast this, then you have to X out on target creature. Because as soon as you cipher onto it, it then comes off as soon as it comes back into an artifact.
Yeah, so you have to watch out for that. But the unblockable is an interesting thing to have if you just want to get that extra punk. Like if somebody has too powerful a creature, then maybe that would be a good card to consider.
Our last and uncommon is the Hellraiser Goblin.
Hellraiser Goblin. I believe I've seen this card before.
A 3-drop, basically Goblin Berserker. Creatures you control have haste and have to attack each turn if able. So it's basically a punch in the face every turn. Like, oh, okay, it's a punch in the face again. It's a 2/2, so it's not really strong, but again, with like Gruul, it can become much stronger. Rakdos, which is the red-black guild, if you don't know, it can be used. This could be used in as Unleashed, could help in a lot of way. But other than that, it's an interesting card. I don't, like I said, none of these cards I actually have that we just showed, or actually none are in my deck.
No, I don't think I have any of these right now. I think I have one Hellraiser Goblin just in my library. It's nice that it gives you the haste, but at the same time, your creatures have to attack each turn if able. So that's taking a slight chance, but if you think it's worth it, then
that's
go
the downside, is that each creature, but unless you have like crap big creatures, and then you have like from Theros, I believe it was like Noble Quarry, all creatures have to block this creature. That can actually help a lot.
Yeah, I can see that.
Like Lure, it's like the old Lure. Like every time, whenever this creature attacks, everything must block it. So it means all the other creatures are unblockable because everything has to block that one creature.
Yes. All right, what do we got?
And for our rare or mythic rare, we have Whispering Madness.
Ah, yes.
Which is a Dimir card, so we may have to go to Dimir Gruul with this. Basically, it's a 4-drop. Let me just get it in focus here. It's a 4-drop, and it's a sorcery. And each player discards his or her hand, then draws equal to the greatest number of cards a player discarded this way. And as a cipher. Basically, before we go into cipher, it is a this card basically gets rid of someone's hand, and then they draw how many cards. So let's say I have 7 cards in my hand. I play Whispering Madness. Everyone have to discard, and whoever, let's say another person only has like 5, another person has 4. Everyone has to discard their hand and then draw 6. And then with a Cipher ability, which is kind of fun, I was playing with a friend of ours with this ability. Cipher is whenever you cast a spell, you then may exile it onto another target creature, so you then put it on a creature with unblockable, like Tormented Soul or Invisible Stalker, and then you can hit it again, and then the spell will go off again. So again, people who just do all their cards, throws their cards away, and then plot.
There was a card that I'm pretty sure I'm thinking of the same friend.
Notion Thief.
Yes, the Notion Thief. If you have the Notion Thief on at the same time with this card, it can be a little scary because what Notion Thief does is if, other than the first card that you draw each turn, you steal that additional card that may be drawn.
So let's just say I play Whispering Madness, not yet, and then as that happens, I then, because Notion Thief is a flash.
That's right.
So as the Whispering Madness goes off, you then flash in your Notion Thief, so then they're only able to grab one card because it's your turn technically. So they only get one card, and while they only get one, you get all their cards. So if I throw away 6, everyone has to only pick up 1, and then you get 10 extra cards other than the 6.
Yeah.
Then you get 5 from each of the players,
and that increases your options for what to do with the battle. So, yeah, I was thinking about making a deck similar to that for my Dimir, but I went a different direction because I didn't have enough of these cards. I don't even think I have a Whispering Madness, so...
Personally, again, I'm not really a Dimir champion or Planeswalker, so I haven't really gone with this card. I don't have this card, and so it's up for trade in my binder. But yeah, so that's the pack, as you see. Whispering Madness, Hellraiser Goblin, both Dimir and Gruul Keyrune, a Skybinder Staff, Sage Roan Denizen, Death's Approach, Ivy's Lane Denizen, Wojak Halberdiers, Primal Visitation, Structural Collapse, Scatter Arc, Sightful of the Old Ways, and a Gutter Skull.
Not bad, not bad. Alright, we're going to take a little break, and when we come back, I'll open up my cards and I'll also change around a little bit of a setup. So, with that being said, there's a few problems that I noticed with that shot, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a second token.
Yep.
So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up my pack the same way you opened yours.
So you want to put on this one? Or...
So I'm going to do exactly what you did where I put the cards on top here, right? But then after that, what we're going to do is I'm going to put this down, and we're going to open up a pack together, and then we're going to alternate. You reveal a card and talk about it. I reveal a card and talk about it. So that's why there's
if you want to do that, yeah, we can do that.
Because then that'll get the anticipation going. So if you happen to peek at a card and it's something good, you react to it while I'm talking. It's like, what's going on over here? So
I'll let you do your return Ravnica pack or whatever pack you want to do. Then we can do that.
Yeah. So that's what I'm going to do. God, we're not live right now.
We're not live. It says we're live over there.
Okay, we're live. Are we live?
I think we're live over there.
All right. Well, I say we go live then.
We're live. All right. And clap.
That's right.
I did it right. Okay.
Okay. So this is not in the right spot. It's actually not that big a deal because we're going to change it later. All right. So Kyle's had his chance of opening up one of his booster packs, so now I'm going to open up one, and I am going to take a step back and start with my Return to Rav. So I like this block, and I got into Magic just as M14 was coming out, so I just missed out on these guys, but I like a lot of cards that are from it, so hopefully I'll get something good.
If everyone has questions, I actually started with Return to Ravnica block. My first box I bought was actually Dark Ascension, so that was a couple sets before, but I didn't really get into Magic until Return to Ravnica when I bought the Golgori and Izzet dual deck. That's why my first deck was basically Golgori and Izzet, so I started with this block, and now I've gone through ever since now to Conspiracy.
Right. Yeah. Oh, and that being said, when we're done here right now, we're going to go to a conspiracy draft. So that's why we're doing this today. And if you hear that, that's one of my emails. So that's something.
Emails.
So let's start off with. Oh, and Kyle's just checking on his iPad right now, seeing what the price of some of these cards are.
27 cents for Whispering Madness. Anyone? Anyone? No? Okay. You sure?
All right. So let us start off with Paralyzing Grasp.
Ooh, yeah, this card.
Enchant creature doesn't untap during its controller's next controller's untap step. Now I'm assuming that's every other, as long as it's enchanted.
As long as it's enchanted, so it's basically the card. Oh, I just forgot what the card is. Not Hydrophobia. It's a kind of phobia card. It's a 3-drop. It's basically like this, but it's the one about that one is you actually tap the creature. For this one, you don't actually. Claustrophobia. That was the card I'm looking for. This is basically Claustrophobia's cousin, as they call it. However, this one doesn't actually tap the creature. Claustrophobia actually taps the creature, while this one actually you have to wait till the creature's either attacked, so it's already tapped, or has been tapped by a different creature or another spell. But other than that, this is actually a really good control card. Basically, the card can't untap until this enchantment's gone away or the creature's gone away.
Yeah, almost like a Pacify, but Pacify can't
attack or block.
Can't attack or block. Now, there's a difference to that because there are some abilities that activate when you tap. So if it's tapped, then it can't really do anything.
Yeah.
Moving on, we've got Chorus of Might. Is that a Selesnya person there?
That is a Selesnya person. It is a, of course, a 4-drop, sorry, with 1 green, 3 generic. It is an instant, so until end of turn, target creature gets 1/1 for each creature you control and gains trample.
Okay, that can be scary if you've got a lot of creatures.
If you have a lot of creatures in the field, this could be really scary. So if you have a trample over on deck, like a lot of people I know do, this is a card I would really recommend to them, because let's say you have little saplings, little 1/1 saplings, you don't think they're really big and scary, but with this on a creature, it could become really, really big in a small matter of time.
Yeah, ironically, saplings are just saplings. They're just little things, but then they can grow bigger and become very scary, so watch out for that. Okay, this is Search Warrant. Now, I'm not too big on Azorius, so forgive me if I'm a little rusty on the knowledge of this
pack looks like
one.
an Azorius pack. Search Warrant is, of course, a 2-drop or 1 white, 1 blue. Target player reveals his or her hand. You gain life equal to the number of cards in that player's hand. So basically, it's just a look at cards and then I gain life.
Yeah.
Nothing really too big and special. Like, I would just put this in just to know what the other player has as an opening hand. So on second turn, this would work really well unless someone draws a lot of cards and then you get to see what he has. Write down little notes of, oh, he's got like Rakdos, he's got Vita the Witch Mage and all that fun stuff. So this card can be good early game or when someone draws a lot of cards.
In my opinion, I would prefer either Thoughtseize or even Duress, where you get the chance to discard a card. But the thing with Duress is really expensive. What was the other thing about Duress that it does?
Well, Duress isn't expensive. Thoughtseize is expensive.
Oh, it was the Thougeize that was expensive.
Duress can only take away a non-creature, non-land.
And Thoughtseize can do
Thoughtseize
anything.
can do any card except for non-land. But the thing with Thoughtseize, you have to pay 2 life as well as 1 mana.
Yeah, and that's actually expensive than a lot of mythic rares in that block too, and it's only a rare, so that's interesting. I can't tell you how many Augur Sprees I currently have in my library, and I still haven't found a good situation to use these in.
Augur Spree is one of those, like, if you want, you can kill an enemy creature by making like explode. I call it the exploding card. It's a 3-drop. Target creature gets +4, -4 until end of turn. So either if you're want to maybe explode another creature, like, oh, here you can have more power, but your toughness goes poof, it goes away. Or if you have a creature with a 5 toughness, that would be really more scary to use it on.
Yeah, it's hard for me to say how to use this. I guess, yeah, like you said, you either explode a creature on his side, or what I was thinking you could do is if one of your creatures is going to die from getting blocked by a very powerful creature, then you could Augur Spree him, hopefully not killing him because he's got higher than 4 toughness, and then try to get that extra punch on him, if that would do any good. I wouldn't use it, and I've got way too many that I probably need to get rid of.
See, the only thing I could really think that would really work is an trample card that has, again, more than 5 toughness, so a Blood Rush. So you can pick a Druid deck, which is green, red, black. That's Jun. There's one of the long-time dragons. They're somewhere back there. It's a color combination everyone doesn't know about.
Yeah, I don't even.
I don't have one of those decks, so I can't really say if they're scary or not. But yeah.
Yeah. Azorius again, and this time we're looking at the Azorius Arrestor. This one has a special. I believe it's
detained. It's just a detained.
It's a detained. Yes.
So again, it's arresting, as some people may know. There's a card called Arrest, which basically target player cannot attack, block, or activate abilities cannot be activated. However, it's basically that's what detain means. So in this case, for Azorius Arrestor, it's a 2-drop, 2/1. When Azorius Arrestor enters the battlefield, detain target creature an opponent controls. So if I have a creature on the field, that creature cannot attack, block, and its activated abilities cannot be activated.
Not to be confused. Just because it's detained doesn't mean that it's tapped or anything. Nothing happens to it. It just can't attack or block or.
And it's only 2 on a turn, unless there's another detain on it. But it's only 2 on a turn.
Yeah, so don't confuse that with getting it tapped or whatever.
Yeah.
So because I've mistaken that once before and refused to again. Next card, the Izzet Guildgate.
Nothing really special.
Nothing special, just a Guildgate with dual colors.
A dual land, as some people call, or not a double land. Double land actually has, you can actually do it for double. This is a dual land. Again, like the key runes we saw before. Tap for either blue or red, but the thing is, it enters the battlefield tapped. Which I would, if you were playing with Guildgates, I'd play them first turn, because unless you have a card that has 1 drop, but I would play these first turn because it enters tapped, so really you don't play it late yet unless you have 1 drop. Then yeah, play that.
And then you've got the shock lands, which are pretty much the same thing, except you have the option of paying 2 life and entering the battlefield untapped. But that's only if you desperately need it. I only have just a couple of shock lands. Shock lands are because shock deals 2 damage.
Now there is a card I know that out there. I believe it's called Vincer's Amulet. It's basically counters the tapped effect. It says whenever a creature or a card enters tapped, untap it. It's actually really scary. I've seen it only played once, and when I saw it, I was like, I need that for one of my decks. But I saw a few a couple of days ago though. But
what block is that?
Oh, it's just old block. Not old as 8, but I think it was during Zendikar. I could be wrong. Please don't quote me on that, saying, "Oh, this guy said it was during Zendikar. It must be in Zendikar."
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I can't remember.
I'm pretty sure people watching this will know what you're talking about, and will give us some insight, hopefully.
Actually, I'm gonna look that up right now.
While you do that, I'm gonna just take a look at one of my original creatures that I used in one of my other decks, the Daggerdrome Imp. I have a foil of one of these. It's a 2-drop, black, 1/1, flyer, and lifelink, so very good to get off onto the battlefield right away since it's so weak and pathetic, I guess. But it's a flyer and it has lifelink. So if you have a lifelink deck like I do, getting extra life at the beginning of the game match is helpful. And I can't.
That was like one of my first foils of. I think you're the one who grabbed my foil, but yeah, it's a. What I had this in my Golgori deck because it's a 2-drop 1/1 with lifelink. So with the Golgori, I had scavenge, so you basically pay life. Whatever creature cards in your graveyard with scavenge, you pay that much mana, and then the 1/1 tokens or 1/1 counters from that graveyard, from that creature in the graveyard, then go on to them. So say I have a Slytherin, which is a 0 scavenge, which is kind of fun. That 0 scavenge, the 1/1 counter from that goes onto it. So now it's a 2/2. Again, it's all that fun stuff.
All right. Another Azorius card. It's monocolored, but it's got the Azorius logo on it, so it's still Azorius. It's Asperia's Skywatch. Flyer, and when it enters the battlefield, detain target creature and opponent controls. So we already talked about detainment. This one's a flyer. It's a 6-drop for a 3/3, so I personally wouldn't aim for that one. Unless you want the flying, then the flying's okay.
I wouldn't like to use this. Sorry, I'm looking at my thing right now. I don't like this card. If people may want to play it, you can. But personally for me, I don't play Azorius, but it's basically, I would use the Arrestor, which was way back there. It's a 2-drop for a 2/1. Yes, this is a 6-drop for a 3/3 flying, which really isn't really needed. I would, if it was a 4-drop or actually a 5-drop, I would probably prefer to use it, but it's a 6-drop, so it costs that 1 extra, which it's
a lot of
doesn't
mana.
Need to use.
It's a lot of mana. I know any card for me, if it has a 5 or 6 drop, I then really need to consider it. It has to be really good for it to be worth that much mana. The Lobber Crew. What is this one again?
Lobber Crew.
Oh, the catapult.
Lobber Crew is a 3-drop 0/4 defender, and basically it's a tap and then deals 1 damage to each opponent, which I just love. And then whenever you cast a multicolor spell, untap Lobber Crew.
Okay, so I guess I missed that out at some point because I did not know that.
So basically, you can do this before someone ends your turn. You just before end your turn, everyone takes the damage. And then you become the big scary guy there because you're pinging everyone. And then your turn begins. Then the thing with Ravnica is a lot about dual colors or multicolor. So whenever you play a multicolor spell, you untap it. So, before I play this multicolor spell, I tap it to do 1 damage. I play the multicolor spell and untap them. Really funny.
And it's interesting. I actually missed that because I only knew it for its defender and the tap for 1 damage, but I didn't know you could untap it. So that's an interesting card. Interesting to consider. 3-drop for an 04 defender, even for the defender ability. That's not bad.
And a little insight with Conspiracy, there are some cards in there that require you to have defender decks. There's actually another defender card that I think it's a 4-drop 2/4. I forget the name of it. We'll probably see it in the draft tonight. But what you do is you pay 3 red, you tap it, and it deals. This creature deals X damage to target creature or player, where X is the number of defenders you control.
Right.
And it's a red card, so seeing how that, I'm like, I'm going to see a lot of defender decks. This is going to be fun.
Okay, well, I guess we're sort of getting ourselves prepared for this conspiracy theory that's going on that we're probably going to be seeing tonight. I only took a little bit of a look at the conspiracy cards, so I'm going to be a little surprised. Next card, we've got I believe it's pronounced Concordia Pegasus. 1/3 flyer, 2-drop.
Generic 1/3. It's one.
Not too bad for early game.
Early game,
Three
it has
toughness.
this quick blocker.
Yeah.
Little poker if you need one. Other than that, meh.
Yeah, that's all I was.
I would use it in a pre-release deck, but other than that, I don't see any other use for it.
And now we're moving on from commons to uncommons, and what better way than to start off with the Goblin Morale.
Goblin
now,
deck.
I have one of these.
This screams Goblin deck all over the place.
Yeah.
It's a 5-drop sorcery. Put 4 1/1 Goblin tokens on the field.
Now, there was, I believe, what was that card that deals damage based on the number of creatures that you control? I believe it's a red card, a Primordial something. Do you know what I'm talking about? What was that?
I can't remember the name.
I can't remember what it was, but it was a card that there's another card, the Foundry Champion, which does the same thing. It's white red, but there's another one, the Molten Primordial, I believe it was called. What was that?
I can't
just
remember.
look that up.
Molten Primordial steals creatures.
That's the creature stealer, right?
That's the creature stealer.
Whenever it was something to do with whenever a creature enters the battlefield, you do something. And so entering 4 creatures onto the battlefield.
Oh no, Warstorm Surge. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield, it deals damage to target creature player equal to its power.
That might be it, but I might be thinking of something else. I'm not sure.
Deck, but that was stupid.
I might be thinking of something else, but he's gonna go investigate that a little bit. So
okay, well I found the amulet I was talking about. It's called the Amulet of Vigor.
Oh, the Amulet of Vigor.
And actually, it was from Worldwake, which I believe is the Zendikar block, but I'll just say it. I won't put it on camera, but it is 1-drop artifact. Whenever a permanent enters the battlefield, tap under your control, untap it.
Oh, okay.
And it's from Worldwake.
That's what he was talking about. Okay, yeah.
I found it. But yeah, for this one, it's just screams Goblin deck because there's a lot of cards way back, like old. There's the Goblin and Elf dual deck, and there's a lot of cards that are just like, whenever a Goblin enters the battlefield, do this, do that, and there's other cards that bump Goblins. So 4 1/1s for 5 is stupidly scary.
I can't remember what the card that I was trying to recall was, but either way, it's the Foundry Champion, which deals damage to the creatures you control. That's a good way to get creatures on the field really fast, just for that. Next, we've got one of
Rakdos.
I'm a fan of the Rakdos side, so I do have a Rakdos creature deck, which I don't think you've seen yet. I'll have to pull that out sometime. But he's in it right now. I only have one of them in it right now.
The Hellhole Flailer, which is a 3-drop 3/2 with Unleash. So again, we talked about Unleash a while ago, but again, it is when you may have this creature enter the battlefield with a 1/1 counter on it. However, if you do, it cannot block with that 1/1 counter on it.
Yeah, so you got to be careful with having creatures left on the field that can still block.
Now the fun thing about this guy is if you put a lot of counters on him, you can then make him into a bomb. So the second ability is 4 mana, so it's 2 and then a black and a red. Sacrifice them, so sacrifice Hellhole Failure, and he deals damage equal to his power to target player.
So one thing I was wondering about this guy is if you had him unleashed and he was about to attack something and he was about to get blocked. If you sacrifice him as that happens, because if he's going to die anyway, because he's going to get blocked, and you just sacrifice him with the mana cost, and then nothing happens.
It's one of the, if you wanted to do something like that, basically you attack with him, and say someone blocks with a bigger, scarier creature, you're like, oh, okay, well I'm just going to pay 4 and throw him at you. It's like old Fling, kind of.
Oh, the Fling, yes. That's the oldest card that I own, by the way, of playing. I believe it's M12.
M12, yeah. M12 from 11.
All right, let's see what we got here. Okay, nope, still uncommon. I think I got one more uncommon. Selesnya, Risen Sanctuary.
Oh, Risen Sanctuary, yeah. 7-drop, 8/8 Vigilance.
Whoa, that's a big card there.
It's a big card. I did
7-drop, though.
It's a 7-drop. I did have this in my Selesnya deck until I got Grow of the Guardian, which is a land, which is a special land. But I would have this guy in there just to be big and scary. Like, oh, I need a big blocker which has Vigilance. Okay, I have 7 mana, I play Risen Sanctuary. Again, alright. Nothing really too special about him other than he's got Vigilance. And seeing on Bobby's face, he probably pulled a Planeswalker.
That's not a Planeswalker.
He pulled a Mythic Rare.
But it may be expensive. I don't know what it is, but it's a Shockland.
Oh, Hollow Fountain.
The Hollowed Fountain. That's the Azorius Shockland.
So this is again, as we said before when we talked about the Gilgate, this is a Shockland. You may have it enter untapped if you pay 2 life. So a lot of people actually do that at the beginning of the games if they have like a 1-drop they really want to play or a 2-drop at the second turn. Personally, I don't play Azorius, but I would love to have all the Shockland I can get into decks because they're actually really strong. And if you don't have them in decks, you can actually they're a bit pricey. I'm not too sure about the old Ravnica ones, but a lot of the newer Shockland or Scrylands and Theros, they can bring up a hefty penny or nickel.
I think each of the Shocklands are about $10. I have an Overgrown Tomb over there, and I'm not going to use it, but it's $10 worth. So I'm assuming the Shocklands are all the same. So Kyle's going to go ahead and take a look at it. In addition, I didn't get anything else special, just an ad card and a swamp. So
I got a swamp and a soldier token.
But yeah, there's something decent. Like I said, I don't use Azorius, so this will probably make for a good trade for somebody.
$8.99 for a mid-price using TCG player.
So a good
however,
find.
the foil is $47.33.
Wow. So I guess thank God it wasn't a foil, but I just saw it was a land, and I just knew that it's got to be worth something.
So that's good. But yeah, so that's that pack. So basically, an Azorius.
All right. So we're gonna take another break. We're gonna do something a little bit different for the next packs that we open. So we're gonna get that done right now. So. Alright, so by now you're probably wondering, what the hell are those Minotaur tokens for? Well, I'm pretty sure you figured it out by now, but...
I played a card that made them. There's actually a card. What's the card name? I should look it up.
This is the one that summons Minotaurs. But basically what I'm doing right here is those are just the places where we can put the cards so that this camera, we know exactly where to put the cards on the table so that the camera can pick it up. So
we don't have to throw cards everywhere, which way direction.
And for the rest of our opening cards, we're going to try to keep the interaction between us going, and so that one of us isn't opening a booster pack and the other is just listening and commenting on it. So what we're going to do is instead of going back and forth between booster packs, we're going to go back and forth between cards.
I played Fury of the Horns. Done.
Fury of the Horns, yes. So
put 3 red Minotaur tokens.
So yeah, so Fury of the Horns. That's pretty much what's going on here. Okay, so we're gonna choose our next booster pack that we're going to be opening, and I'm going to be opening up my Gatecrash.
I'm going to be opening my M14.
All right, sounds
Core set. Things all right. I got Garruk on the front, so that might give me good luck. But
so you go first for the revealing.
All right, first for the revealing. Well, first off, I'm going to get rid of the token and then the land on the bottom because no one really needs.
I will do the same. Yeah, just to add an island.
Alright, well the first card is the card I actually did use for my vampire deck. It is a vampire, spoiler. It is Child of the Night, which is a 2-drop, 2/1 lifelink. Again, very generic lifelink. Whenever this creature does damage to a player or any creature, you gain life for it.
I'm going to pause right here for a sec because I just couldn't help but notice the lighting on you is very weak, and for some reason it's very bright on me. I don't know why that is.
Because of the natural light.
Is that might have something to do with it, or maybe because it's because that one's getting to me or not.
Nah, I don't really care.
That doesn't matter.
On the dark side. All right, your turn.
All right, so you start off with Child of the Night. Great.
2/1 vampire.
Yeah, I remember when I got a lot of those things. I had a lot of those back in my white-black actually, but then
I'm Edward.
Creepy. I actually like the some of these things, the writing on the bottom of the cards. Like I think one of my favorites is they warned me about children on the road. Blood Baron, right?
I ain't going by that way.
That's great. I think that's M14 too. I'm not sure. Anyway, mine is Hands of Binding.
Oh, there's a good card. As an uncommon, that is a really good card to control.
Oh, it's a cipher too, so that's Dimir. Tap target creature an opponent controls. That creature does not untap during its controller's next untap step. Yeah.
It's just control. Basically,
yeah.
Basic control. It's cipher, so we already talked about cipher. you may exile to a creature. So I may exile on Child of Night. Next time Child of Night deals damage to player, I can then recast that.
Yeah.
So my next card is Angelic Wall. 2-drop 0/4 Flying Defender. Perfect card. Just as a quick little, okay, you can't get through me yet, quite yet.
Yeah, I like that one because it's a nice 2-drop for an 0/4. I like that card, but my personal favorite is the I believe it's like the Illusory Wall or something. The 3-drop, it's blue and it's 0/6 with flying.
No, Fogbank beats that.
Fogbank beats that. What's that?
2-drop, the 0/2 flying, prevent all the damage dealt to and by a creature.
Ooh.
Oh, you have Death Touch on your creature.
Worse.
The only thing you can really get rid of it is Death Touch, or not Death Touch, Burn. So I do 2 damage to it.
No,
I shocked your wall.
Okay, so apparently there are better defender walls than I thought. I have one in my mill deck as the elephant in the deck, just in case I happen to bring it up. It's a good starting blocker, so I don't take combat damage. I don't recognize this one. This is a new one to me. It's Massive Raid.
Massive Raid deals damage to creature player that doesn't remember creature control. That's the card you're talking about.
That might have been the card that I was talking about that I was not actually intending to talk about, but yes. And this card may be really good for one of my other decks, which is the
dog barking.
Yeah. No.
It's experiencing a massive raid right now over next door, so the dog's barking at it. But yeah, it's an instant, quick deal damage. Let's say I have crop-level creatures on there, and then
Soldiers.
Soldiers
spawning, and then cast that creature. Elspeth. Elspeth's #1 ability would be good with that.
This one I thought was going to work for it, but doesn't. It's Fogbank. Or not Fog, it's just Fog. Prevent all combat damage to be dealt this turn. It's just that card is a trolley card.
That card can be a dick sometimes.
And it could be
because you can make a really good move, and then somebody pulls that 1-drop, and it's like.
Because then let's say someone has a green mana, and you're just looking at it, just like, does he have a Fog or not? Because you could do an all out on him, and then he pulls a Fog, and then kills you next turn.
You're never safe unless your opponent has untapped mana, all tap mana. So watch out for Fog. I should put that one in one of my decks. Just
that's my Gold Glory deck right now.
Another new card to me, the Night Watch.
Oh, Night Watch. Generic. I say generic.
Knights.
That's right. Night's Watch is a 5-drop, and you put 2/2 white knights, creature tokens with vigilance on the field. So again, not too big and scary, but it can help if you have populate or growing ranks. Basically, it's a good starting for getting tokens on the field. A bit expensive, but it does work because they're 2/2 knights with vigilance, and vigilance can help out a lot.
Yeah. The only problem with it is 5-drop. That's the only thing that I would say about it. But
it's not a total problem.
But late game, good to get some vigilance in there.
Okay, I got.
Stay vigilant.
Stay vigilant.
That's what Garen says.
Garen, good. Well, this isn't a league video. I got a card that can be another dick card. Seismic Stomp, or Seismic Stomp. I can't say right now. Creature without flying can't block this turn. So the only thing that can block right now will be your flyers. Oh wait, you don't have any flyers, so I now overrun you. And you can't do anything about it unless you have a Fog, which would be stupid. But yeah, this is Gruul Charm, which is in a Gatecrash set, which I don't have. Has the same ability, but again, it's a 2-drop. Before I attack, I now play Seismic Stomp, so all your creatures on the ground can't block me.
Right.
And then I come in with a massive raid.
Yeah, so beware. I used to have these in my green-blue deck, but they got my mind turning too much. I just couldn't do it, so I dropped it because I couldn't deal with it. Bioshift, because you really need to be have a well calculated mind in order to understand what Bioshift can do.
Bioshift can be a funny. We're getting into funny cards now. A Bioshift, it's an instant, so that's why it's funny. It's only a 1-drop. So let's say a guy is about to kill one of your creatures, which has a lot of counters on it. I was like, okay, as a response to you doing that, I pay 1 mana. I move all the counters from that one creature onto another creature. Oh yeah, now this creature over here got stronger.
Yeah.
Did you miss me?
Yeah, that damn card.
However, I got a kitty cat. I got the Ringnath Firecat, or I cannot say that.
I remember putting that card in my well, that was actually the first deck that I personally made. You were there when I was making that deck too.
Yep.
I was trying to make a deck. This would have been my second deck, but because the first deck was made for me, and that was one of those cards.
It's a 3-drop 4/1. The one factor, I can understand, but it's a really strong card, but it has a really weak defense.
Yes.
So if you were going to put like some armor on it, that would help, like Sligarm armor, which gives like 0/6 to equip creatures, so it'll be a 4/6. And other than that, it can be a quick punch. So make sure you have haste in the field, and it can be a really good.
That's
quick
what I
punch
was going to say. Haste. That's why I prefer Spike Jester. It's a black, 1 black, 1 red, 3/1, and it's got haste.
Yeah.
Very, very good. That's a very good card.
No, Spike Jester just have lifelink. That's the other card I'm thinking about.
Yeah. Oh, right. That
Practice Mudhound or something.
Yes,
like
that's it. That's the 3/3 haste lifelink. So
yeah,
quickie.
And what do we have for the Gatecrash again?
We got Gruul.
Oh, more Gruul.
Zertos Swine. I would recommend this for the Blood Rush.
For the blood, yes. For the initial cost, maybe. But for the Blood Rush is crazy. Blood Rush is basically, as you see here, you discard Zertos Swine, target attacking creature. Make sure you know attacking. You can't do it if you're blocking. Target attacking creature gets 5 and 4 until the turn.
Yeah, and the initial summon for the Zertos Swine is 3 red-green, but the Blood Rush is 1 red-green.
So if I wanted to, with the 2 cards we have right now, let's say I have the Fire Cat, and no one blocks the Fire Cat. I was like, okay, I'll then pay 3 mana, and I then turn it into a 9/5. Now it gets really scarier. And then I do other crazy shenanigans to make it even stupider.
Alright,
my
continue.
Turn. My turn is a beast. He's the beast. He's the Rumbling Bylov. A generic 4-drop for a 4/4. Again, nothing special. He's considered too green to be able to play him. I did have this in my buddy's beast deck. Well, I don't have it, but he has it in a beast deck. It can be really scary at times. But then it's just a generic 4/4/4/4.
Yeah.
4/4/4/4.
4-drop for 4/4, so that's not bad.
4.
Possibly good for getting your devotion up if you want to build a devotion-based deck.
Oh yeah, I guess it's 2 draws.
Yeah, and it's only M14, so...
We'll go into devotion later when we're into the Theros cards.
Guess what?
Oh, I'm going to guess that you got another red card of some sort.
Yes, I did, and it's Gruul, in fact. It's the Skin Brand Goblin.
Actually,
another Gruul.
Another Gruul card, as we can see, 2-drop, 2/1, Blood Rush is 1, and it just gives creature 2 and 1. So
it's good for either side.
I give you a little bit of more of a punch. That's what a spicy punch you give me, or spite me bud.
Not bad, not bad. Good for an early game drop, or Blood Rush if you really want to.
Okay, my card is really interesting. His name is Charging Griffin. He is a 4-drop 2/2. However, there's a catch. When Charging Griffin attacks, it gets 1/1 till turn. So it turns into a 3/3 when it attacks, though. But when it's defending, it's only a 2/2. Other than that, it's just flying as a birdie.
Yeah.
Birdie. And what did you get over there?
I'm just thinking, what are thy last thoughts?
Oh, last thoughts. A 4-drop draw card. Cypher. Bit of expensive for a draw card, as we saw earlier, the Scatter Arc. But this one, draw card, Cypher, you attack with a creature that's unblockable or something like that, and you draw another card.
Yeah, I got a few of those. It's okay.
And that can also work. For me, I pull a control card, Disperse.
Disperse.
Return turn, non-land permanent. Oh, you have a card that's hunting another card. I'm just going to throw it away.
The thing with returning a permanent, is it non-land permanent?
No.
A non-land permanent, so you... Mainly I would use it on
artifacts, anything big and stupid.
Yeah, I would prefer using it on creatures, especially if they have counters or enchantment, because if you do that, then the counters go
fizzle
away.
And the counters and enchantments would fizzle.
Yeah.
Target the creature. Make sure you target the creature.
That's one good thing about returning. And then the thing with returning to your hand is if you got some leftover mana left over, they try to play that card again, you can interrupt it. Counter. Yeah.
Yay!
What have I got here? More Gruul. And it's a Guild Gate.
We're just loving the Gruul.
I don't love Gruul.
It's a Guild Gate. We already saw the as a Guild Gate. This one, of course, Gruul, so it goes for a green and a red. Nothing scary. It enters tapped. Like I said, if I had that Amulet of Vigor, it'll come untapped, but what can you do? For my card, it is another foil I have, but this is not a foil. It is the Canyon Minotaur, a 4-drop 3/3. Favorite lines are in it. I love this thing.
I couldn't help but notice them.
Okay, so this is the reading. This isn't the ability. This is just the reading. We'll scale these cliffs, traverse brittle bridge, and then fight our way down the volcanic slopes on the other side. Isn't this shorter route through the canyon? Yes. So shouldn't we? No. No, don't go over there. There's a Minotaur over there. You kick your ass. He's a 4-drop 3/3 over here. He's got a damn hammer. So don't go in the canyon.
Don't go in the canyon.
Don't go in the canyon.
Right.
You ain't gonna counter my Minotaur of Doom. Whack!
I think I remember reading this card. This is Court Street Denizen.
We're hitting all the denizens already. Basically this one is a tap. Whenever another white creature enters the battlefield, you may tap another target creature controls, or tap a target creature devoted control.
White creature summoning could be interesting with that.
Thesaurus! I'm sorry. I think I dropped all the cards. Did I get it right? Yeah, okay.
Alright. But yeah, I can see.
Again, we're getting to a bit of the boring stage now. I got the Griffin Sentinel. It is a 1/3 3-drop. Vigilance.
Yeah,
Fun, good, whatever.
Yeah, speaking of boring stuff, I can't remember the last time I bought an M14 card because I got so many, and I know there's one M14 card that I'm still looking for right now, Sanguine Bond, but it's not worth buying booster packs for. So
am I still looking for that one or not? I'm not sure. Okay, what do you got?
What you got? Naturalize. Destroy target artifact or enchantment.
Artifact or enchantment deck, say that card.
2-drop.
Enchant,
not
instant.
Bad. Very good. It's instant.
It's an instant, so basically it's generic. Okay, you have an artifact I don't like. I pay 2, I destroy it. Yay! Unless it has indestructible.
Especially if there's an enchantment where the enchantment pretty much makes the deck. Mine especially, my white-black again. It's based around Sanguine Bond. So
yeah, it's a black card.
But there's a card that was used against me where it was destroy the cards that are on the battlefield with the same name.
Oh yeah,
that's what happened to me, and I had a feeling he would do that, but he did anyway.
I'm pretty sure we're in the uncommon. Yeah, we're in the uncommons now.
We are in uncommons.
I got Molten Birth.
Ah, hello.
Actually,
elementals.
This card is a 3-drop or a 2 red, and you put 2 1/1 red elemental creature goes to the battlefield. Then you flip a coin. If you win the flip, you return it to your hand. So you're like, I play it. Okay, I flip. I pick heads. I win the bet. I get it back. I play it again. Now I have 4 now. But if you don't win the flip, you don't get it back.
Yeah.
You have to cry.
You could win a lot. It's a crapshoot there.
You gotta make sure you win the flips though. Not the rolls, the flips. Unless you do dice. Right?
You know what? I said that I liked Rakdos a lot. I don't have no Rakdos are in Gatecrash that's returned to Rap, but another guild that I truly like is Dimir.
Oh, Dimir.
And with that being said, let's talk about the Dimir charm.
For the Dimir charm, personally, it's not the strongest out of the charms, but it's scary. As the bottom says, dangerous to recognize, deadly not to by Luthor. You choose one with all charms. You choose. There's 3 abilities, and you choose one of them. For this one, you can either counter a target sorcery spell, or destroy a target creature with power 2 or less, or look at the top 3 cards of target player's library, and that player puts the rest of that into his graveyard. So you just say, okay, well, I'm going to look at the top 3 cards of your library, and then you can keep that one, but all the rest have to go to the graveyard.
Great. I was considering this one in one of my decks, but I had to get rid of it because when I found out that I could only counter sorcery spells, I didn't find it was worth it. So,
okay, remember that Rambling Byleth? I found his distant cousin,
which is
the Colonian Tusker. It's now a 2-drop 3/3, but you gotta make sure you're playing mono green or have a lot of green in the deck. It is a good card. I do like this in a beast deck. It is again a 2-drop for a 3/3. Again, for 2, you get 3. Other than that, it's generic.
Yeah,
but it's a good, quick devotion card if you're playing devotion in the Theros, which is new, but this isn't really in Theros, but yeah.
Alright.
Your turn.
We have 3 minutes. I'll just say that right now before we run out of tape, so we'll try to be
quicker. I got 2 cards left.
How about Skull Crack? Skull Crack.
That takes up fog and everything.
That's a good card from what
players can't gain life. This is for 2 mana. This is a stupid. This should be a rare. This should be a rare, people. It is a 2-drop instant. Players can't gain life and damage cannot be prevented. And then I'm also going to hit you for 3 to target player. So it's basically, oh, you wanted to gain life this turn? No. Oh, you wanted to fog me and prevent the damage? No. I'm also going to hit you over the head for 3. Good times.
It's a deck.
It's a floppy deck.
Mm-hmm.
My last uncommon. A card I don't really use it. It's enchantment. It is Barrage of Expendables. A 1-drop. And it's a pinger. Basically, it does 1 damage. Sacrifice. You pay 1, sacrifice a creature, deals 1 damage to target creature player.
Not bad if you have a bunch of creatures that are coming on the battlefield anyway, so that's what I would say.
So like that Goblin Rally we saw earlier, you got 4 chances to throw things at them.
Alright, this is my last uncommon. It's the Gateway Shade.
Oh, Gateway Shade.
I do not know this one.
It's a 3-drop Gateway Shade. You play a black, and it gets 1/1. However, if you tap a gate, it gets 2 and 2. So we all saw the gates. So if this is on the field, you tap a gate, it gets 2 and 2. So instead of being a 1/1, it turns into 3/3. Then you bump it on with black. Good card for any kind of black deck. Really good. Now my rare or mythic rare, I have not seen it, so I don't want to freak out quite yet. I'm going to look at it. I'm going to say don't use it. It's good for Chandra's people. It is a Pyromancy Gauntlet. He wants it, I think. Mm-hmm. It is a 5-drop whenever if you play a red or instant spell you control, or a Planeswalker you control, just basically adds another 2 to it. So let's say I throw a Lava Axe at you, but it's 5 damage. It does an extra 2.
Good for spellcasting.
So it does 7 damage. I'm going the wrong way. Again, I'll read it again. If a red or sorcery you control, there's his demo version.
Yeah.
Or Planeswalker you control would deal damage to a permanent or player, it deals 2 damage plus. But that's deck.
Good for spell casting, I will say on that one.
Burn deck all the way.
That's right. And with that being said, my
Wrecking Ogre.
Wrecking Ogre.
Haven't seen that guy in a long time.
Double Strike and Blood Rush. Does that mean the Blood Rush gets
Yes.
Double Strike too? Ooh, so that could be scary.
That's the thing about Wrecking Ogre. He's a good rule card. You can have either on the field or Blood Rush someone. So, okay, this guy has got Trample. He's a 5/5. Oh, okay. I'm going to block with my 5/5. Okay, so in response to you blocking my 5/5, I then put Wrecking Ogre. So Trample happens. So now it's an 8/8 with Double Strike and Trample. So my first 8 goes over 3 damage, and then I believe after that, the 8 from the second attack then goes over again. I could be wrong, though, because it's Trample. But that is stupidly scary.
It can be stupidly scary, and my god. Double instant on a Double Strike. I didn't even think you could do that, but that's why it's a rare, and that's why it's there.
But again, Blood Rush is attacking, not defending. I've run into many players where, okay, I'm going to Blood Rush my defender. You can't do that. But yeah.
Alright, we're going to take another break. He's probably going to say a few things, and what I'm going to do while that time is going on is I'm just going to go ahead and change the tape on this because it's run out. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now.
Get more tape. Get the electrical tape.
Yeah.
Alright, back to the book.